Hi everyone, and welcome to the third video in our series of quick Q&A masterclasses for the applicants of the theatre category of the Nottingham Young Creative Awards. I'm Flo, and this video is focusing on advice for monologues from a director's perspective, and I am joined by director Martin Berry. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Hi Flo, and hi everybody. So my name is Martin Berry. I work as head of participation at Nottingham Playhouse. And I have worked for nearly 20 years now as a theatre director, work of all scales really, including lots of monologues, helpfully for this chat, lots of classical text, work for young people, musicals, all sorts. So yeah, that's me.
Sounds great. I think you're going to be a fountain of knowledge for us. So let's dive straight into the first question. So as a director, how do you first approach a monologue with your actors?
Slowly, in a way. I think it's, I would say don't sort of rush to begin with is probably the thing. So, you know, dig into the text, look at every word, every line, every bit of rhythm. What can you spot? What can you dig out that might be useful? And don't hurry to kind of leap into a final polished version too quickly. Give yourself time. And a question that I always ask a performer that I might be working with is, what do you admire in the character? And the reason for that is I think you have to, if you're going to live with a character, become that character for hours, days, weeks, months even of your life, I think if you don't find someone you admire, even if you're playing a villain or someone apparently pretty, you know, irredeemably awful, actually you're going to be them. And therefore you have to find what makes them tick, what motivates them. And I think that question of what do you admire about them, what do you like about them, can kind of is a good way into those thoughts around objectives and motivations and what they want.
Yeah, I've never thought about it like that before, but I think, yeah, that quality you admire is a really interesting piece of advice.
Yeah, an example I always often give is Richard III. So I directed production of Richard III, and the man playing Richard in this production, he said he was really struggling because Richard, for those who know the play or even don't know the play, you know, he's pretty awful.
Pretty irredeemable.
Pretty irredeemable. And yet he has to play him. And what we realized is that Richard is an unbelievably effective politician. He's a smooth talker. He's amazing with words. And those became the things that the actor could get hold of and latch onto in order to play him and not just kind of hate him and detach himself from him.
That's great. Thank you. So what are some of the common mistakes that you have seen people make when both preparing and then performing their monologues?
Okay. The first thing is, don't spend too long finding the monologue. I know it sounds like such a simple thing, but honestly, I know a lot of performers, and young performers especially, who agonize. I'll spend 80% of their preparation time just finding the monologue and agonizing, and then they decide, they find one, and then no, actually that's not quite right, and then they've left themselves no time to actually work on the thing. And to state the blindingly obvious, acting is to act, to play, to do. It's not to sit in the library or Google agonizing. So pick something. I would say, like, pick something and start playing with it. Yeah, then of course, if it reveals itself to not be right, then go for another one and then start playing with it. But don't spend ages just thinking and searching. Like, grab something and have a go. And I think the other kind of common error, if we can call it that, is to not connect really meaningfully with the audience, with the watcher, with the listener. And on Zoom or whatever, that can be an extra challenge. And sometimes it's just about eye contact, Flo. It's just about the difference between looking your audience in the eye as you speak to them in this soliloquy or monologue, and just looking slightly above their heads or into the middle distance or into your own space. And actually, in general, I would advise performers to really actually talk, you know, like I'm doing with you now, even if it is through a camera. Make that kind of direct connection, if that makes sense.
And I think that's a great point, because these are being filmed and then submitted. It might be that they've done all this prep and then they'll come to filming and be like, oh wait, where should I be looking? Should I be looking down the barrel of my camera phone? Should I be pretending to look over here and there's something there? And I think thinking about those eye lines, something that might surprise people when they come to film it on the day. So it's definitely something to have a think about before you get to that moment.
Yeah, I think so. And that's not to say that you kind of stare down the camera the whole, you know, I mean, it's like we're doing now. I'm not literally, you know, there's times when I'm sort of thinking, so I'm looking away. So it's not about thinking, oh, I must stare at the person. But when you are connecting, when there's a moment where you think, you know, I'm going to look at the audience, so they just really do look at them. You know, don't be afraid.
Make it a choice.
Yeah.
No, that's great advice. Thank you. So also, when you're casting, as one of the many jobs a director does, the actor only has a short amount of time to make that lasting impression and give a good performance, which is similar to how it's going to work with submitting these monologues for the judging panel. So what in that short amount of time can make an actor stand out to you?
I think a couple of things. I think that preparation is everything, really. Preparation and more preparation. Know the material, know the context of the material, know about the writer. Because I know this is slightly different in that it's, you know, that kind of a live audition where there might be a, you know, discussion as part of that, but it just comes across if you've done your preparation. There's something about the confidence that it gives the performer, both in conversation and in the performance of their piece. So I think prep is huge, really. And related to that, the second thing I would say is to really, if I, as a director, or as the panel on the Young Creatives Awards, I'm living this play or this competition or whatever it might be, you know, that is going to be and has been probably my entire life obsession for a number of months, because that's how directors work. And we want to be working with or awarding creative awards to people who we feel share that same kind of passion and obsession with the work. So I think, you know, when a young person has chosen a piece that they've clearly really thought about, they've done the work, the detail is there, then actually what I'm thinking is, oh, I'd like to spend more time with this person in a rehearsal room. You know, and ultimately that's what auditions are actually about. They're about finding the people that you don't mind spending 3 or 4 weeks in a slightly damp rehearsal room, you know, working silly hours, interrogating a play. You know, do you want to spend that time with them? And that comes across in their own, you know, real passion and interest for the work.
That's a great point. And also, if you're successful and selected from these awards, you then receive, you know, mentorship. So you are going to be that person who will be mentored, and you want that similar relationship with, in terms of you want to be able to get on with them and you want to see that passion that they have so that they can benefit from that mentorship and all the other opportunities that the awards will bring. So another great nugget of wisdom from you, Martin. So do you have any last pieces of advice for those who are going to be submitting monologues?
I would say that I would advise to choose material that's within your casting. So, and I know when I was young, I used to violently disagree with this. When maybe someone would say, "Oh, why have you chosen to play, I don't know, you know, Polonius in Hamlet because he's, you know, way older than you?" And I go, "Well, I'm an actor. I can play older." And they would say, "Yeah, but you don't have the life experience in your bones of this weary old man." And I sort of resented it, but actually it's absolutely right. You know, you've got 2 minutes or whatever the criteria is, and is it, how long is it?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes. And really, why add that like additional sort of impossible challenge of being completely the wrong age? Or, you know, I think for something like this, for an audition for a creative award, like pick something that is close to you and then sit within it and be authentic and live that kind of character. So that feels, you know, sensible in a sense. And then I just add in terms of it's related to some of what I've said before, just in terms of knowledge of the world of the play. So again, it it seeps out of a performance when someone has understood the context. You know, what time of day is it that this speech is taking place? You know, what season is it? How are they feeling? What's happened just before? What are they going to do afterwards? You know, what is the context? Don't go to a monologue book. Find a monologue and then just learn it. Find the play that the monologue is from. Read the play.
Read the play.
And read the play. And then read around the play, you know, and get to know. And again, it's that obsession thing, I suppose, isn't it? But it will inform the choices that you make as an actor.
Definitely. It's amazing, actually, because Naomi and I both made similar points about context, and it seems to be, no matter what your discipline, actor, writer, director, everyone is like, know your context.
Yeah.
So it's really important to reiterate that, and it seems to be, I bet it will come up in all of the workshops we do. So thank you so much, Martin, for taking the time to talk to me and everyone at home. And it was really interesting to hear, and I'm sure it's going to be really helpful for the people working on their monologues. And for everyone at home, if you want to find out more about the theatre category of the Nottingham Young Creative Awards, or if you have any questions, you can visit the Young Creative Awards website or contact the team at Lakeside through our social media. So thank you, Martin, for taking the time to talk to me.
Absolute pleasure. Good luck, everybody.
Good luck, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.